Filming episode 2 on Lake Hartwell. We're gonna go out here. Foggy this morning, but definitely a beautiful view. Lake Hartwell's down a little bit. It's the end of October, so it's starting to go in that winter time. See if we can't go find a few spots and maybe 1 or 2 largemouth, but I'm pretty sure it'll be just all spots today. And go out here and just talk a little bit and enjoy the weather. It's the day off for me, so I get to come out and enjoy myself and hang out a little bit. So, foggy day, Lake Hartwell, episode 2, Real Therapy. We'll see what they do. See what the fish are doing today, moving around, and then we get to. We're gonna go back to the house, and Jordan Tate's coming over from Tate Tattoos, my man. He's gonna check him out on Instagram. He's coming over. He's gonna do like some mural stuff on the wall in the little podcast studio. So we're amped about that. So we're gonna film some stuff out here today. Get some footage in, and then get some footage of him doing that. So keep an eye out. We got a lot of stuff coming up, and then see if we can't catch some fish today. A few fish before we go back to the house. So Hartwell, yeah, Hartwell. Here we go. Dude, it was freezing. Like I'm talking about like crazy cold. Like, and the kid that I was fishing with, he was pretty cool, dude. Like we hit it off pretty quick, but he got stuck, and it's what happens in tournament fishing sometimes. And your mind gets. It's why I love listening to like Gerald Swindle when he's like, "Yo, I got a mind coach," you know. But he's like, "Yo," he was like, "We're gonna fish over here," and I was like, "All right, dude." And the next thing I know, we're not fishing like shallow, we're deep. And then he went from like this deep pattern to a shallow pattern. And I'm like, I have no clue. Like, you know, as a co-angler, it's like that unspoken rule. You don't bring like a duffel bag and a bunch of rods on the boat. You know, you respect the man's boat, you know, like you keep it minimal. You got your area from here back, you got your stuff, you know, and basically you kind of like, you know, just take care of it. Take it like you take care of your own boat. But so the thing is like for me, where he's pulling, you know, different rods out of the locker, and he's, you know, able to throw. Like when we move, like you have to be versatile and having to switch real quick. And that's why I was like, it threw me off because him and I were fishing, and I'm like, we're over here, and to boot, it's like 29 degrees and raining all day, and I was like. Oh my, like that's when you like the part of you that goes, hey, I want to be a tournament fisherman, sinks in, like, and it's like the military's like that too, like, you know, those times where you're like laying on the ground and like any kind of training or whatever, you know, but you're out there and the rain's just freaking smoking in, you're just sitting there going, dude, this is what I chose. Like, there's nobody else to blame but me, you know, like this is what I did. So I don't know, man, it's cool, but yeah, dude, that was the thing about freaking tournament fishing's like, God, it's crazy. I was listening to something the other day, and this kid I fish with on Lake Greenwood, he was talking about how like, hey man, you know, how do you keep your mind right from doing this, doing that in tournaments? And I was like, man, it's been a struggle. Like for me, it's been a struggle, especially somebody that deals with like, I'm obsessive compulsive as it comes, like, you know what I'm saying? So like everything's got to be, obviously you see how everything's got to be neat. And then the other thing is like, not only am I like crazy obsessive compulsive, but it's like the ADHD and stuff. So like I'm the same way, man. Like for me, when I'll get out here and I'll have a plan to start fishing somewhere, and if it's not working, I start thinking. I start thinking like, yep, look at him. Like I start going like, oh, I need to go here, I need to go there, I need to go do this, I need to go do that. So the kid that I was fishing with, he's so cool. His name's Blade Anthony, and he's just a really cool dude. But he puts this tournament on. So we were sitting there and he goes, I said, dude, you got to listen to something. I want you to listen to this one deal from Gerald Swindle from a long time ago where he was doing a conference, and I think it was in like California or something. But I was like, it was one of those deals that kind of like spoke to me. I was like, hey man, this thing's like, dude, he's serious, you know? And you kind of take it back to the military as well with what he said. And the big thing is he was sitting there and he goes, he's fished with Kevin Van Dam a ton, you know? And he said, dude, I was in this whole realm of fishing where like, you know, like, he goes, I was on the verge of throwing fits like Mike Iaconelli, like losing fish, like break a rod. He goes, it's just crazy how mind games are, you know? So he hired this sports medicine guy, and I mean, this like sports dude who dealt with like football players and everybody. And long story short, he called me and he had watched, this guy was not a fisherman or anything, but he had watched a video of Kevin Van Dam. So he called Gerald Swindle in on their next visit or whatever, and he told him, he was like, hey, listen, I want you to watch this video. So he watched the video, Kevin Van Dam slung it out there, and he comes back, and bam, gets a hit on a fish, and the fish comes off. And it was a big fish. Fish swims off, and he reels it in, never says a word, doesn't throw a fit, doesn't turn around to the camera that's filming him, nothing. He doesn't do anything. And he slings it back out there again, and he just starts digging again, and bam, hooks another one, comes off, reels it in again, and he turns around the camera and goes, that doesn't happen a lot, does it? But the moral of it is he never let it break him. He never let it take him off of his game on what he was doing. You know, like he never let it pull him away. And I think the thing is that I learned from that is like, and I was telling Blade, the thing is, it's like, dude, it's so easy to get, you know, this tunnel vision of like, hey man, we're gonna fish this way and that and the other. And you do the same thing in the military. You get this tunnel vision. I see these guys go, it's this way and this way only, and you got to have it. You got to be open to change. And the big thing is you know, when you got something on your mind, and I was listening to Gerald talk about it, and it's crazy. It's like you can't let the small things just bust you like that. You know, to be a good fisherman, you have to go, that stuff happens. Let's move on and go. And it's the same thing like we need to take when I look at the military side of things, and when I tell these guys for the Fishing for Warriors stuff, it's like, hey, the bad stuff's gonna happen. I've been there, I've done the same thing and had that stuff, you know, those times are gonna come. It's how you handle those times, you know, it's how you make those times, you know, the best of the bad times. And it's a hard thing to do, and I struggle with it all the time, and I struggle with it in fishing, you know, and it's but then you turn around and you have to look at the bright side of things, you know, like, dude, been overseas 3 times, you know, and there's a lot of guys that have been over multiple times as well, and we're here. Some of us got a few wounds, some of us got internal wounds and stuff like that. But the big thing is we, you know, you're on this side of the green grass, man. I mean, look at this, dude. It's like freaking, you don't even really have to fish. You could just putt along here, and it's just beautiful, you know, like Lake Hartwell, the trees are turning, you know, like
fall's a great time.
Fall's like a crazy time of year, man, and it's just like, it's a Tuesday, man, and it's like, you know, like we ain't guaranteed tomorrow, and it's like you can tell how blessed you are at times to be able to do this kind of stuff and meet and have friends like you and be able to come out here and do this. It's great. So I don't know, man, it's like one of those deals. I just went off on a rant for some reason, but I just like, the big thing is I think when we started the conversation, you were like, I couldn't do it in the cold. This is why I do it in the cold, man, because you know what? It's like all that bad stuff that you think about, like that people talk about when you go through training or you do this, like there's always an end to it if you just take it day by day, or if you know, like, hey, let me just make it till tomorrow. If I can make it to tomorrow, I'm solid. And that's what you do instead of making these crazy goals out like 15 years from now, like you know, in 15 years I'm going to be a millionaire. Like that doesn't bring you anything. Is that going to bring you joy? Dude, live every day like it's your last one, man. Go on to hey, I'm going to live for tomorrow, you know, let me see what tomorrow brings. And you know, tomorrow's going to be better because I'm going to make it better, you know, and I think that's, you know, I do that at work sometimes because there's sometimes where, you know, I love my job. I love what I do. I love all the guys I work with. Like, they're my family. Like, I'm with them. I'm with those guys more than I'm with you know, my son, you know, and my family. So, you know, like, the thing is like, I love going, but there are days where just like anybody, you're like, could care less about being here, man. Or I'm dreaming about this place, you know, I'm dreaming about being out here. I mean, I could, like I said, this right here, I could do this all the time. I can, and not catch a fish, just be out here and just slinging a line. And I believe that's the pureness of the water and the lake and fishing, and same thing on the ocean, you know. I don't know, I can't speak for like how the Elite Series guys are, but I mean, I can almost guarantee that they're probably, you know, they're probably freaking, you know, just like me. Like, the purity of this is like just bam, like this whole, I mean, hence the reason why they chose it for a job. And I would love to have it for a job, but you know what, at the time, I guess it wasn't my path to get into this until later on in life, which is great. But the cool thing is like, I get to enjoy it now, and we get to put like so many veterans through it and get them to enjoy it as well, you know, and show them like, hey man, there's an outlet, you know. Doesn't necessarily have to be like video games or sitting on the couch all the time. Like, get out and suck in some fresh air and look at some of these people that have some of these sick houses on Lake Hartwell. That right there is, that's cute. Little guy. Hey. Hey, little fella. Little spot. We'll stick him like that, make him look all big. Look at that, guys. It's a big one.